Have you been on LinkedIn recently and just felt like something's different? Like the whole vibe has, I don't know, shifted somehow.
Yeah, it's a feeling a lot of people seem to be sharing, a lot of active users anyway.
Right. And that's exactly what our deep dive is about today. We're trying to unpack this changing landscape on LinkedIn, looking at it through the eyes of someone who's really active there, creating content, watching things closely. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting because we've all heard the stories, right? Established influencers, big names, sort of publicly complaining about their visibility dropping. Some are even saying, LinkedIn is dead.
hmm That narrative is definitely out there.
But the person we're focusing on, they had the complete opposite experience. It's kind of paradoxical. Their post impressions actually shot up, like 5 times what they were getting before.
5 times. Wow.
Yeah, they went from maybe 100, 200 impressions a day pretty consistently to suddenly hitting 500, sometimes even 1,000 views per post.
Okay, so that's the core of it right there, this impression paradox, as we're calling it. How can one person, or maybe one type of user, see that kind of growth, that reach expanding?
While others are feeling squeezed out.
Exactly. Well, others are saying the platform's dying for them. So our mission today is really to dig into these shifting dynamics, to try and figure out what's actually going on under the hood at LinkedIn. It's clearly not a simple picture.
Definitely not. So, okay, this source, Our Observer, they're getting this huge boost in visibility. These impression numbers are climbing.
Which sounds great on the surface.
Right, but here's the twist. The actual interaction, the engagement on those posts, it basically fell off a cliff.
Ah,
They saw this massive drop in comments, like 80 to 90% reduction, went from getting, 10, 15 comments pretty regularly down to maybe one, maybe two.
wow. From double digits to almost nothing.
Exactly. And likes. Same story, down by about 2/3, 67%. They used to get, say, 10 to 30 likes, pretty standard now, barely hitting 10, often just like 2 to 5 likes per post.
So impressions way up, engagement way down. This really points to that whole quantity versus quality thing, doesn't it?
Seems like it.
It suggests that maybe LinkedIn's algorithm, or maybe their whole strategy, is starting to value just showing your content to more eyeballs.
Getting the impression count up.
Yeah, boosting their own platform metric, perhaps, even if it means sacrificing the actual conversations, the meaningful engagement that you'd think a professional network would want to foster.
Right.
It kind of feels like a shift towards, I don't know, more passive scrolling, like you see on other more entertainment-driven platforms.
Uh,
Less about deep interaction.
Yeah, that resonates. I mean, you've probably experienced this yourself, right? Scrolling through any feed, really. I mean, you see a post pushed everywhere. It's got tons of views listed, but then you look at the comments and crickets.
Tumbleweeds?
It feels a bit empty. Like the numbers don't quite match the reality of the interaction. And this sort of emptiness, this disconnect, it pops up in some really surprising stories our source found. Stories that show this huge gap between, perceived online success, like having tons of followers, and what that actually means in the real world.
Okay, like what?
Well, get this. An influencer, someone with over 100,000 followers, publicly asking for free tickets to Wimbledon.
Wow. Okay, 100K followers and asking for freebies.
Right. And then there's maybe an even starker one, another influencer, this one with 30,000 followers, publicly posting that they couldn't find a job, despite having this, significant online audience.
Oof, yeah, that's rough. And that really hits at what we call the follower fallacy. It's this idea that a big follower count automatically means you're successful, secure, employable.
Like it's a direct measure of your value.
Exactly. But these stories show it just doesn't always translate, especially not directly into the job market. And what's really interesting is what this suggests about the engagement gap, meaning employers, recruiters. They might be getting smarter about this stuff. They're realizing that 100,000 followers doesn't necessarily mean someone had the actual skills or the expertise or brings real business value. They're starting to look past those vanity metrics.
That makes sense. It kind of pulls back the curtain, doesn't it? On the image, that carefully polished image of success so many influencers try to project.
Totally. Makes you question what's really going on behind the follower count.
And sometimes the reality behind that count seems, well, financially precarious, even for creators who look really successful on the surface. Our source pointed out one case, a content creator, seemed to have a pretty big following.
Right.
Ended up in a public dispute, like arbitration, over just $1,700 in unpaid fees.
Just 1,700. Wow. Yeah, that paints a picture, doesn't it? It suggests a certain level of maybe desperation or at least vulnerability in that whole content creation economy. If $1,700 is worth going public over,
It says something.
it really does. But maybe even more surprising, or I don't know, unsettling, were the other examples the source found. Multiple cases of supposedly successful creators
Yeah.
publicly asking for money, like financial help for basic stuff, housing, healthcare.
Really, just asking their followers for help.
Yeah, and apparently sometimes getting it. Which brings up this whole idea of parasocial relationships.
Parasocial, like one-sided.
Exactly. It's where followers develop this really strong, kind of one-sided emotional connection to a public figure. They feel like they know them, like they care about them, even though they've never met. It's common with celebrities, YouTubers.
But on LinkedIn, that feels different. More professional, usually.
Right. That's what's so jarring here. It shows how those lines can get blurred. Creators, maybe sometimes without meaning to, maybe sometimes intentionally, can build up this sense of connection where followers feel almost obligated to help out financially.
It's a weird dynamic for a professional platform. Okay, so if real engagement is down and some of these big follower accounts aren't translating to stability, what kind of content is actually working? What's getting the traction, even if it's maybe low quality traction?
Well, according to the source,
Yeah.
a whole lot of generic stuff, like really bland, often meaningless motivational quote just slapped onto AI-generated background images.
Oh, I've seen those. They're everywhere.
Exactly. And it's not just that. There's this whole copy-paste culture going on. You'll see multiple quote-unquote influencers sharing the exact same quote, sometimes even the same image.
And people still engage with it?
Apparently, yes. They still get likes, maybe even some comments, which unfortunately just reinforces the behavior.
Right. Creates a cycle.
It really does. It becomes this kind of race to the bottom for content quality. The algorithm seems to reward any engagement, right? So if a simple, low-effort, generic post gets clicks and likes.
Then why bother with deep analysis or unique insights?
Precisely. Creators are almost incentivized to churn out this high-volume, low-effort stuff. It's easy to make, easy for people to glance at and react to while scrolling, but it doesn't add much real value. It just kind of dilutes the feed.
Yeah, and it all seems wrapped up in this, what we're calling hustle culture dominance. You know the post. Glorifying achievements, which, let's be real, sometimes feel a bit exaggerated.
The humble brags.
Totally. Overcoming these vague obstacles, talking about working nonstop, posting these fuzzy success stories that don't actually give you anything you can use. It feels less like professional development, more like, I don't know, a giant motivational poster factory.
That's a good way to put it.
And beyond the motivational fluff, our source flags some other really peculiar trends that seem to be working, algorithmically speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like this whole pedantry pandemic, a sudden surge in posts that are basically just grammar policing. You know, people dictating how you absolutely must use a comma or an em dash or whatever.
Ah, the self-appointed grammar guardians.
Exactly. And then there's word banning. Creators trying to sound smart by declaring certain common business words or phrases totally unacceptable.
Right. Trying to elevate themselves by condemning everyday language.
But why does that stuff work? It seems so low value.
Ah, but think about the engagement. These kinds of rants, whether it's about grammar or buzzwords, they reliably get comments. People jump in to agree or to argue or to defend the word or to point out the creator's own typos.
So it sparks debate.
Exactly. It provokes a reaction. It doesn't have to be valuable insight. It just has to get people talking.
Yeah.
That makes it super algorithm friendly. It's basically just engagement bait, pure and simple. Gets people clicking, commenting, spending time on the platform.
Which the algorithm sees as a win, even if the conversation is about comments.
Pretty much.
Okay, and we can't talk LinkedIn trends without hitting on the empty exodus threat. You must have seen these.
Oh, the dramatic I'm leaving posts.
Yeah. Influencers making a big song and dance about how they're abandoning LinkedIn. But it often feels like just a way to get people to follow them somewhere else, right? Like Substack or whatever.
Often, yes. It frequently seems like a thinly veiled promotion for their other channels.
But couldn't some of that be genuine frustration, though, even if they don't actually leave? Like, is it always just marketing, or does it reflect a real feeling that LinkedIn isn't serving them anymore, even if they stick around? Because, you know, where else are they going to go for B2B stuff?
That's a really good point. And I think you're right. While, a lot of it is clearly strategic, trying to funnel followers, there's definitely a real simmering discontent underneath it.
Right.
The fact that I'm leaving has become such a common trope, It suggests a widespread frustration with where the platform is heading. It might be performative, sure, but it's performing a real sentiment. People are questioning the value proposition.
Yeah.
They're asking, is the effort I put in here worth what I'm getting out? But, like you said, that B2B reach, it's still unmatched. So it creates this tension, this kind of push-pull that keeps them tethered even while they're complaining.
Okay, so if the feed is getting filled up with the generic quotes, the grammar fights, the maybe fake leaving posts, what does that mean for someone actually looking for, real professional value?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Our source definitely felt there was a valuable content drought. Like, the stuff that should be there is getting harder to find.
And what specifically did they feel was missing?
Things like substantive professional insights, actionable business advice you can actually use, thoughtful analysis of industry trends, genuine offers of value, not just sales pitches, evidence-based best practices instead of just opinion.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes of professional development.
Exactly. The stuff you'd hope to find on a professional network.
And this brings us right back to that quantity over quality idea we started with. It connects directly. Like the source put it, and this quote really stuck with me. They said, the platform is definitely growing. Is it for the better? Not sure would people with large followings really can't make money on here and have to beg for free stuff.
That sums it up pretty well.
It really does. It strongly suggests LinkedIn might be prioritizing just getting more users, more raw numbers, over actually building an ecosystem where creators can sustainably share and monetize real expertise, or where users can easily find truly valuable professional content.
Which makes you wonder about the long game.
Absolutely. If the core professional value erodes too much, what is the platform's ultimate purpose? Beyond just being, big.
But here's another twist. Amidst all this chaos, these weird trends, our source, the person whose experience we're following, they actually found a way to make it work for them personally.
Oh, interesting. So despite all the negatives they observed.
Yeah. Despite documenting the engagement drop, the low-quality content surge, all of it, their own follower count kept going up, steadily increasing.
Oh, okay.
And get this, they mentioned they're still averaging around 20 comments each day on their own stuff, which shows that, meaningful engagement can still happen. It hasn't vanished completely, at least not for everyone.
So it's possible to navigate this changing landscape successfully, maybe.
Seems like it for some. And I think their final thought really captures this nuance.
What was that?
They said something like, the LinkedIn experience remains worthwhile for those who approach it with realistic expectations and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Realistic expectations and skepticism. Yeah, that sounds about right for navigating almost any social platform these days.
Totally. And they added a funny, honest bit at the end, too. They said, and yes, I do spend way too much time on here. Thanks for noticing.
Huh. Relatable for many, I'm sure. But it's a great closing thought. It acknowledges the platform's flaws, the time suck, but still finds personal value by adjusting perspective and strategy. It's not all doom and gloom necessarily.
Exactly. It depends on how you approach it. So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you listening right now? We've gone through a pretty complex picture of LinkedIn today, haven't we? Kind of contradictory in places.
Definitely complex. You've got that impression paradox. More reach, maybe, but way less actual conversation.
Right, and the follower fallacy showing up in those stories about influencers struggling, needing free tickets, or even basic financial help, it reveals that vulnerability.
And then the flood of low-value content, the generic motivation, the grammar police that seems to game the algorithm for engagement, but doesn't offer much substance.
So the big question we want to leave you with is this. Given all these shifts, all these weird dynamics, how might you need to redefine what value or success actually looks like on LinkedIn or any professional platform for your own goals?
Yeah, is it just about chasing those big impression numbers? Or is it something deeper?
Is it about fostering real connections, even if it's with fewer people? Is it about sharing insights that genuinely help someone, even if it doesn't go viral? How do you cut through all that noise we talked about?
The motivational posters, the grammar debates.
Yeah. How do you cut through that to find the good stuff? Or maybe, even more importantly, how do you create stuff that offers genuine insight, something that resonates beyond just a quick click or a superficial like, something to think about next time you log on?